Hey everybody, I'm Billy Watkins, and this is the Whole Package by Premier Packaging. Today we have Jill Gaynor.
Oh, hi.
Nice to have you here. You are the Chief Marketing Officer, one of the owners of Premier Packaging.
That's the rumor.
This is the biggest get we've had so far. You are, without a doubt, I mentioned to you earlier, I was a little nervous leading up to this, and now here we are.
Here we are. I'm a little nervous too.
It's like Frost Nixon or Barbara Walters and Arafat.
I'm
or
not
something.
sure about the Frost Nixon thing, but Barbara Wawa maybe. No, I'm kidding.
Before we talk about Premier, and there's a lot to talk about, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How'd you get here?
Yeah. So, gosh, I guess nobody really asked me that because they talk a lot about other people, so,
Right.
which is fine.
You're the only one we got today.
Originally here from Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know. I don't think I'm that exciting, but my background is advertising. So out of college, I started working for an ad agency here in Louisville, and then my territory was Chicago. And my biggest client was Navistar International Harvester up in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I learned everything you wanted to know about trucks. They sent me to truck school at a ripe young age at 23-ish. So learned a lot and have just had the bug ever since. So John and I met in college.
And I guess so everyone knows you're married to John Gaynor, one of the other owner of Premier Packaging.
Yeah,
so
35 years this year.
35 years.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you guys meet? Was he wasn't in the trucking business, I know that.
No. We were in college. We met in I don't know how you want to say that, establishment, but I will preface establishment where you have cocktails.
Okay, yeah.
And but through mutual friend.
That's better
So it wasn't
than
really
better than like a courtroom or something.
Could have been
Right.
with some of the guys I dated in the past. So, but no, met him through a mutual friend at a pub that's no longer around here in Louisville, and was the stereotypical. Quite funny, actually. This is before cell phones, so I'm dating myself. And got the stereotypical cocktail napkin. Hey, put your number down. I'll give you a call. And my somewhat sarcastic comment was, "I'll put my name next to it so you know who you're calling." So
very nice. There's something romantic about a number on a cocktail napkin,
or scary, depending on how you look at it. So.
As opposed to so. You all have been married 35 years, and I guess at the beginning, you and John starting a company. What was the objective when you started Premier?
We were so young. John started in the industry in college, so my first job was advertising out of college. Mm-hmm. His first job was working with St. Joe Paper Company as a salesman,
which is what our original plant used to be. St. Joe's Paper.
Yeah,
right?
That's where he would go into work.
Okay.
And he in college he sold the dies. I always describe them as like the cookie cutters to make the corrugated boxes. And when the concept of coming up with the idea of Premier, he met the Blinko brothers, who were strong in industrials, and John brought the concept of corrugated. And at the time, all of the big corrugated box companies had minimums that they would run.
Right.
And there was a niche in the market to provide below those minimums and or a one-stop shop to sell
because most everybody
everything.
Else were the big guys.
And we're still great partners with them today.
Right.
But just the concept of, you're still working in the same industry, but we complement each other.
Right.
And just providing that one-stop shop service to a client of whatever they need, and service driven. So when it started in '94, we had 2 kids, little ones. And I had decided to be an executive director of human development
Okay.
You know what that is?
It's a heck of a title, but a very
Stay-at-home mom.
There's nothing more important than that.
So, it allowed him to do what he did. And then I've always been in the background. So, like, when the guys said, okay, here's the name of this company. We need your help with a logo. We need your help with some marketing materials. We need your help with, I think we need a website. So, any of those things.
Checking another box for one-stop shop.
Right.
Kind of thing,
So, I was always in the background. And whenever we made some decisions, John and I, it was always, a team effort. And with me not being in the grind every day, sometimes I might have brought a different perspective, right or wrong, maybe a different outlook sometimes. So it's worked well. It's been a good partnership. So.
And I've been with the company maybe 10 or 11 years, something like that. And from depending on how I think about it, sometimes you can have the perspective that it's been meteoric growth, but going back to the beginning, were there lean times?
Of course, yeah. I mean, the economy today is very cyclical. I mean, when I in the early 80s, when I worked for the ad agency, it was a time like this. And a lot of times, there were several cutbacks, and normally companies would cut back or slow down their growth. Like, usually advertising agencies would get hit, philanthropies would get hit, new construction developments would get hit for lean times. And, what's amazing about the people at Premier, even today with the economy the way it is, making strategic decisions, continually to be lean, but we have a minute. We've grown so much so quickly.
You sometimes have to
that we have a minute to actually catch our breath.
Yeah.
And look at our processes, be better, come out better, still driving, in sales and driving service with our clients and, working in development of new markets, to keep going. But it's amazing how our people, and you couldn't do it without everybody.
Right.
You, custodial, it does definitely is a team effort and could not function without this. So without everyone involved, and just, it's always, you usually see me at Christmas, I always get a little bit clumped every time of year, and every year I'm like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to do this. And then I, tear up, because it's just overwhelming to me to see all these families and people that are with us through the good times, with us through the bad times, knowing we're going to come out on the other side.
It's a heck of a thing to be a part of, and from your position to be responsible for, because we're talking about over 1,000 employees, locations across the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Brazil.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is, and kind of one big family. So how do you day in and day out continue making that a successful company?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of conversations. I mean, being in this forward-facing role now, I think 4 years, it's been a change in John and our relationship, and it's been a little testing sometimes because we're not used to working on the daily basis together, and sometimes I might not see him for days or not get to talk to him for days, and then when I want to talk to him, it might be at night, and it's probably the last thing he wants to talk about. So just trying to find that balance. And then it was like when we would go out and talk about our kids, we say, okay, we're not going to go out tonight. We're going to go out and we're not going to talk about our kids. We're going to talk about anything else. And then it always comes back to talking about our kids or family or work or whatever, which is fine. But
extremely hard to, I would imagine, to the work-life balance when work is your life.
100%. 100%. But we're figuring it out, and it's been great.
Yep.
And we've got amazing people in place. We've got amazing, people that work with us. And, I'm confident that we're going to come out through this time here, much better.
From your perspective, what is it about Premier that sets us apart from our competitors?
Well, I think what makes us unique is, a lot of times in the industry, you're either a manufacturer or you're a distributor. We're both.
Yeah.
So, it's that one-stop shop concept. we are forward thinking, we are cutting edge, we're always looking for ways to improve. We're a solution provider. So we're not just another vendor. We want to partner with our clients. We want to say, how can we help you? How can we make your life easier? What are your pain points? And come to them with solutions.
And that's taken a while to do. You could be because of just adding equipment, adding capabilities. If a customer's looking at something in particular that perhaps we didn't have at one time, we've added that, right?
Yeah. So, if we have an opportunity to tour someone's facility and talk to the engineers or the people in the plants, or the purchasing agents or the engineers, the designers, and just have a conversation, learn more about them, learn more about what they're struggling with. And it's more about how can we help? How can we provide a solution? Like, for example, to your point, automation, you might see some struggles that they might have with labor, or it's slow, and our sales reps and subject matter experts can come in and do an assessment for our clients and say, hey, we see an opportunity to streamline this process for you through this certain type of equipment that would work and speed up your production, or whatever that is.
Right. I think when I started here 10 or 11 years ago, however long it's been, I had a sense that not your average company, right? It was a different place to be. It was exciting. It was fast-paced.
AKA John Gaynor.
but something where you wanted to get up and make it happen every day. And it wasn't just me doing that. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
So you all have definitely created a culture of that kind of success. How do you do that?
Thank you.
How do you?
I think to your point, I guess it comes from the top. Again, John and I are very much partners. We are very much team oriented. We don't have all the answers. We surround ourselves with people that are experts in certain fields.
Those subject matter experts, as you
yes,
said.
Yeah. And help and collaborate and say, okay, how can we find a solution for this? Or how can we do this better? Or, I'm very fortunate, even though being more in this forward-facing role, I know enough to be dangerous, but I still have a lot more to learn.
Right.
And I learn every day. And it's amazing that the willingness of people to say, okay, what do you need? Oh, I can help you with that. Or they explain it in a language, because we have many different languages in this industry, right? We have the world of acronyms. That's a whole nother language that I've come to learn. And then, IT and translating what that means, and accounting or engineering, and understanding the languages and how they can translate to explain to someone who may or may not have that background and educate.
It's amazing because as big as Premier is, as big as we've gotten, there's certain, guideposts, a little more corporate structure than there was when I started, which is in that sense, I think a good thing, but we have retained our kind of flexibility and ability to. We're not, there's not a stodgy, this is the only way we can do things and it has to be this way. It is.
I think that's what makes us successful, right?
Yeah.
That we're
Yeah.
flexible, and we
Yeah.
have to be. And John and I have had to be flexible. When we started in the business world, the internet wasn't around yet. The cell phones weren't around yet. I'm now aging myself or dating myself, but you have to be open-minded and flexible to change. And
Right.
the way the markets are today, it's different. So the way that you go through a bidding process is different. Now there's a lot of sustainability requests and a lot of requirements, and do you have this in place, and what do you have this in place, and how people want to do business with you. So we are adapting to that as well and providing the answers. And I'm thrilled that we have our sustainability team, that we produced our very first sustainability report. There were a lot of things that Premier has been doing since day one from a sustainability standpoint, but we've never had it formally
Right.
documented.
Right.
So just to reestablish things that, hey, no, we do this, or we're continuing to improve on this. There's always room for improvement in anything we do, including myself. So just always being curious, being open-minded. We have to have some structure. So when you started
Definitely,
10 or
yeah.
11 years ago, we weren't the same.
Woohoo,
We weren't
Wild
the
West.
same.
I mean, no.
We weren't the same people. So,
Right.
when you're building a business and you're growing a business, I mean, there's things like, okay, you sold that account, great. Hey, can you go figure out how to work that machine and turn it
Right.
on and get it going?
But like you said, I mean, and at that point, just moving so fast, right?
Yes.
And you're just
Yes.
let's get the orders out the door, and we are at a point now where we kind of can.
We have to have a little more structure.
Yeah.
Because of the size that we fortunately are today, because that's just only going to make it better. And because, never in our wildest dreams, I don't think any of us ever thought that we would be outside the state of Kentucky. And here we are today, in Mexico and Brazil and Canada and the West Coast, and, the options are still endless of what we can do. So having the people that we have and everybody's on board, and, change is hard sometimes, but kind of like being a family, there's some decisions we might make that people might not always agree with, but our kids don't always agree with our decisions,
Right.
but we make the best decisions for the company as a whole. We make the best decisions for our families as a whole. So that's the only way I can relate that. And, so far so good. And we're also human, and mistakes have been made in growing a business, but I mean, how else are you going to learn, right?
Right.
But no, it's been great, and just proud of our people, proud of our culture, very much so. And when I've interviewed people and I've met people, they've said, oh my gosh, they see it. So because there's one thing to talk the talk, but we make sure we walk the walk too.
Right.
And John and we've made it our mission, I mean, that you guys are important to us, and we live out of a suitcase quite a bit, but we will be wherever we need to be to support our company, the people that have put so much faith in us, and share in the vision and taking it next level, because we're no spring chickens. So we're looking for those next level.
I hear you.
We're looking for that leadership and for everybody that works with us to keep it going.
Yeah. Hey, we hope you liked this episode, because that's not all. We'll be back in 2 weeks with part 2 of our interview with Jill Gaynor, where we discuss what Premier has been up to recently and our exciting future ahead. See you soon.
Do you have comments, questions, or ideas about this topic? If so, we'd like to hear from you. Please visit primpack.com/podcast to let us know what you think. Thanks.